guys, it's Sam, and this is my spoiler-free review of Windwitch by Susan Dennard. This is the second book in the Wishland series, the first book being Truthwitch. I will leave my spoiler-free review for Truthwitch on the screen. So first off, let me talk about the world building. One of the main complaints for Truthwitch was that the world building was very dense, especially in the beginning, and you feel very dropped into it. And that was something that I also noticed as well with Truthwitch, but I actually reread Truthwitch right before I read this. And I just felt so immersed that by the time I got into this one, I was already totally immersed in the world building. But this world building is denser, I'd say, than some other YA series. There's just so much going on as far as the political intrigue and machinations, as well as the magic system, and we're constantly getting introduced to new witches, and that is awesome. I love the magic system in this series, and I love that we're constantly getting introduced to new stuff with it because we're always kept on our toes. There's always some kind of twist going on with that. There's always something new that people don't think is real and actually ends up being real, and all of them feel so unique and have their own unique flavor, and I just really enjoy that. Also in this book we get introduced to some more kind of technology with this world. So in this world their technology is very much tied to their magic. So they have stuff like plumbing or electricity or lights, but it is made possible because of the magic in this world. Also in this book we get introduced to new characters and we kind of figure out what's going on in different parts of the world, which is really interesting. This map in here is huge and we're obviously going to see a lot of different places. There's a lot of different landmarks and cities marked on this map that we haven't even gotten to, and each book seems to kind of focus sort of on a different place, and it's so interesting. I just love all the cultures in this world and how fully fleshed out they are and how real they are. Next, let me talk about the characters. I adore the characters in this series. They are my favorites. I am so attached to all of them, and we get new characters or returning characters with new perspectives in this book, and that is so cool. We do get new characters and old characters and new looks at older characters, and it's just so much fun. The main element that I love so much about this series is that there isn't female competition. There are a ton of very powerful female characters in this series, many of them rulers, and none of the characters feel like they have that bitchy female competition that is so prevalent in so many books or so many TV shows or whatever. We never have that. In fact, usually the female character that we're in the POV of, if they do encounter another female character, they will be almost in awe of them and admit if that other character has something that they do better, like if their magic is more powerful, if they're more beautiful or something, and it's not a competition thing, and they actually tend to bond together very quickly and have this like girl power thing going on, which I just love, because typically speaking you'll have these female characters who are really strong in a lot of series that butt heads, which is also a story that is valid, but I'm just really tired of seeing because it just tends to be a trope at this point, and this series doesn't do that. It focuses so much on female friendship and female alliances and females being in power, and it's so cool. I love it so much. This book also does introduce more diverse characters. The majority of the characters in this series are people of color anyway, but they also bring in a lesbian princess and a trans man in this book, which is so awesome. I do want to point out with the trans character, if you happen to read the ARC, the representation there might not have been as nice as if you read the finished copy. I did reach out to Susan to ask about the trans character to confirm that they were in fact trans. Apparently in the finished copy, it is very clear, but we do have another character who doesn't quite understand. They're not mean to them, they use their pronouns to them, but in the character's POV, they actually use the wrong pronouns until later on in the book. So if that is something that you are sensitive to, or you see that and you want to put it down because it makes you really angry, I do encourage you to push forward a little more, because it is kind of showing that some people, while they're good intentioned, may not pick up on it as easily, and that character actually, the trans man actually calls the character out on that. And it's an important part of both characters' development and everything, and part of their personalities and their backstories and stuff like that. So if you are looking out for that and you do see that, I want to make sure that you do know that that is something that is well represented in the end, and that Susan did a really good job about working with sensitivity readers. When I reached out to her, she did say that she worked with sensitivity readers and made sure that they got it right with the final copy and everything, so just so you guys know if that's something you're looking out for. I think the trans male character is an amazing character, just so many good additions with all of the characters that are brought into this, and the changes that the characters have made between book 1 and book 2, and all the stuff that has happened with them, our main characters and our new characters, just so so good. And it is hard with the multiple POV story to add in new characters, but I don't think that this faltered in any way. Next, let me talk about the plot. I do think the plot is the one thing that kind of lacked slightly with this book. I still really enjoyed this book, but I do feel like it almost slowed down a little bit and took a step back because things are happening that kind of take it in a side turn off of the main kind of story. Like, I understand why it happened. It's setting a lot of foundations for a lot of things that are going to happen later on in the series, and there's a lot of character development stuff that happens in here, and character relationships and stuff that are being formed, so that needed to happen, but it does kind of feel like it veers off of the main kind of goals of a lot of the characters because they have to do some side stuff over here. So it didn't necessarily bother me, but I did find it was a little more meandering than I would have liked. I kind of feel similar for if you guys have read The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, how book 2 kind of feels like it halts the goals of the main story and kind of does some separate stuff and develops some characters. It's very much like that. So with that being said, I'm very excited for the next book. This series is one of my favorite series that is currently out right now. I just love all these characters. I love where it's going. I love how rich the world is. I love that we're constantly learning new things, and I never feel like I can predict what's going to happen or what's going on. I just am always really engaged with these characters and am so excited to learn more about them and their world. I gave Windwitch 4 out of 5 stars. So I will be doing a spoilery gush on this, which I will link on the screen if you want to check out. So comment below and let me know what you thought of Windwitch. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye!